Hello, friends and lovers and haters too. What the heck? Everybody, hello and welcome. We're back with another report here. It's Monday, December 14th, 2020. A lot of news I wanted to get into. What is up with the net worth scam? I call it a scam. It's the positive news that the economy is doing the best ever. Why? Because America's net worth is the best ever. The best ever. America's net worth hit a new all-time high. Woo, woo, woo. Everybody's rich, right?
Everybody's getting rich. Everybody's getting rich. Everybody's getting rich. 401ks and high. History high. Time in history high. It just hit another all-time in history high, meaning 401ks and jobs. Everybody's getting rich. Everybody's getting rich. Everybody's getting rich.
All right, so is everybody getting rich? Is that true? What an absurd thing to say. Wait, maybe it is true. CNBC, household net worth hits record $123 trillion amid stock market surge. Well, I sure hope that some of these people turn their new wealth into actual tangible wealth. The problem is, when they go to spend that new wealth, everything's twice as expensive, right? Because of inflation. Maybe more than twice as expensive. It depends on what you're looking at. But let's look at the sad truth behind this record net worth now. And this is a recent article here. December 11th came out of CNBC. Let's go down into the article and it reveals the sad, sad truth. Along with the expansion in total net worth, though, came a rise in debt. Domestic non-financial debt rose 5% for the period, just over $60 trillion. That came primarily from a 5.6% expansion in household debt, which would be the biggest increase since 2007. Right, what a scam, right? So people go out and take more debt, and to put a positive spin on it, they say net worth has increased. So everybody's getting rich, right? Or is everybody getting into more debt? It's interesting to just look at one half of the equation, right? So if I go out and take out, let's say I get a personal loan for $100,000, and I feel this adrenaline rush, I'm on top of the world, I'm $100,000 richer. But never mind the fact that it's debt and I have to pay it back. Otherwise, they're going to slam my credit score and I'll never be able to borrow again. All right, so pretty simple formula that I think most of you know by now. More debt, more lending creates a wealth illusion, and it also creates an economic illusion. All right, but is wealth or net worth, is that really a sign of prosperity when it's based on debt, consumption, and lending? Do you know what would happen if the bankers quit creating endless amounts of money out of thin air? Well, net worth would crash because asset prices would drop, home prices would collapse, the stock market would collapse, all the bubble valuation investments would collapse, right? So when the debt machine stops, all right, so when the printing press stops, valuations drop. Pretty simple, right? Speaking of printing presses and money printing, here's a tweet here out of Ashley Fairbanks. It says, every time that someone says we don't have money to build public housing, remember that we as a nation spend over $100 billion on police, $80 billion on prisons, and $720 billion on defense spending. Right? And I've been pointing that out on this channel for a long time, so I think that's a good tweet. Right? Isn't it interesting that when it comes to our defense spending and the military budget, there's never a question. It's always passed. It's always approved. But when it comes to spending on the people or stimulus checks or helping out the people, then it's a huge debate, left versus right, back and forth for months and months. Right? Now, I want to be clear. I don't think that's the solution. Stimulus checks are not the solution. But if you're creating all this inflation because of the banking system, then you're going to have to do something for the people. It can't be so one-sided. My solution is to get rid of all the endless money printing, let the system collapse and reset it. But if we have unlimited printing, you got to do something to help the people because inflation, and especially now inflation with the job losses combined, is putting a lot of people in a bad position. Another tweet that I like and I agree with, Jacquis Hizagi, with millions lining up at food banks and facing imminent eviction and foreclosure, almost all libs and progressives in Congress didn't vote for a new stimulus, but for the new NDAA with $740 billion in defense spending and a block on troop withdrawal from Afghanistan. Right, there we have it again. Endless money for the military, for the defense budget. And I'll tell you, the defense contractors, they're laughing all the way to the bank. They love it. This next tweet out of the Burn. I haven't heard from the Burn in a while. He says the following: I will be voting against the defense appropriations bill. We need to get our priorities right at a time when we have enormous unmet needs in our country. We should not be spending $740 billion on the military, more than the next 10 nations combined. Wow, more than the 10 nations. That's outrageous. All right, now at the same time, while I do agree with what some of these people are saying, you cannot fix this without ending the endless printing, the endless money creation, the endless debt. Right? So the problem is too much debt. The cost of living is too high. Now, and on top of that, you have the turmoil caused from all the shutdowns and the lockdowns and job losses. All right, job losses in a real economy based on fundamentals, based on a free market. A lot of people could lose their job for maybe 6 months, a year, who knows? And maybe we'll be able to skate by because a lot more people would have their homes paid off. Costs would be just lower overall. The cost of living would be lower. Now people are out of work for just a couple weeks and they're in big trouble. Why? Because most people are living paycheck to paycheck because the cost of living is so outrageous. And we have a lot more people now that are considering downsizing and going to a more minimalist lifestyle as they see costs rising and rising and rising, and they see their unemployment checks are not enough to help them keep up with their bills. And there's a report here, and this was based on a recent survey. This is out of IPX1031.com. Survey reveals Americans' ideal tiny home and tiny office. And the survey said, I'm starting to sound like that Family Feud show, right? This survey said that 56% of people would live in a tiny home. That number took a big jump as far as I can see when you have millions of people that are facing foreclosure or they're under a moratorium and the only reason they still have a roof over their head is because the bank is being nice enough to not take the home from them. And also several more millions of people are on rent eviction moratoriums because they can't pay their rent. More people start realizing that, hey, I'd rather live in a tiny house and have a roof over my head and have lower costs, lower overhead, versus living in a tent city or sitting and praying and hoping that the bank doesn't take the home from me, that the bank's going to continue to be nice and allow these moratoriums to continue. All right, tiny homes, it's a big craze. There's channels on YouTube with millions of views, millions of subscribers. The thing with tiny homes is you need to allow these people that build these homes way back in the wilderness, you need to let them live tax-free. If somebody's living in the woods and let's say they're hunting for their food, hunting for their dinner, and they're chopping their own wood for heat, how are they going to come up with dollars to pay these property taxes, right? There should be no property taxes on someone living way out in a tiny home or off the grid, you know what I mean? Right, but they'll never do that. Believe me, the people running the system, they love taking away your home, leaving you homeless, right? You really think the people that are in control of this system really care if you're homeless or not? Right? Do you think these bankers, these politicians, they stay up at night worrying about all the homeless people? All right? I think they're probably laughing at the homeless people, which is pretty sad. That's about all for now, everybody. Thanks for watching this report. I'd like to hear from you down in the comments. Hope everybody's well. Keep preparing. Keep preparing. This thing could take a devastating turn. I think we're going to see some more danger unfold here in the next few months. A lot more unrest. And who knows, maybe something else will happen to cover up this whole economic collapse. Maybe war, maybe troops on the street, martial law, who knows. I'm preparing for the worst. Ride the bull, prepare for the bear. Stay well, stay safe, stay prepared. Bye, everybody. Peace.